Vitality walkers. Did you know there exists a creature on this planet that possesses the most powerful memory of all living beings? A creature that can recognize a friend's face after 40 years of separation, that remembers every trail traveled across the vastness of entire continents, that can navigate through dense forests using memories passed down through generations. And for millennia, the Indian masters have guarded the secret behind this extraordinary memory. A secret so powerful, so transformative, that it can literally rewrite the destiny of your mind and add decades of crystal-clear mental clarity to your journey. I am Monk Hanzo, and today I will reveal to you the most closely guarded secret of the sacred elephants of India. A secret that has the power to transform not just your memory, but your entire existence. For over 40 years, I have dedicated my life to studying how Eastern masters keep their minds sharp well beyond 80, 90, and even 100 years. I have walked barefoot through the burning deserts of Rajasthan, meditated in caves hidden deep in the Himalayas, and spent countless nights in temples where the echoes of ancient chants still vibrate through stone walls worn smooth by centuries of devotion. And in my journey through the sacred temples of India, I discovered something so extraordinary, so profound, that it shattered everything I thought I knew about the human mind and its potential for greatness. If you are watching this video, I know you seek more than just existing. You seek more than just getting by day after day, watching your memories fade like photographs left too long in the sun. You seek to thrive. You seek true thriving. You seek that vibrant, razor-sharp mental clarity that makes every moment of life more vivid, more meaningful, more alive. And if you, like me, believe that our mind must remain clear and powerful until the last day of our earthly journey, then this message was crafted specifically for your soul. But before we continue this sacred journey together, I need you to do something important. Subscribe to this channel right now and activate that notification bell. Because the teachings I share here are not just information, they are keys to unlocking the extraordinary potential that lies dormant within your mind. Every ritual I reveal, every secret I share, every ancient technique I demonstrate has been tested by time, proven by centuries of practice, and validated by thousands of lives transformed. Now let me tell you a story that forever changed my understanding of human memory, a story that began in the most unexpected way. It was my third year studying in the temples of Karnataka in the southern heart of India. The monsoon rains had just ended, and the air was thick with the scent of jasmine and incense. I had arrived there as many Westerners arrive, my head full of theories from books, my notebooks crammed with research, but my heart empty of true wisdom. I thought I understood memory. I thought I understood the mind. I had spent years in universities, reading studies, analyzing data, thinking I could unlock the secrets of human consciousness through microscopes and MRI machines. How wrong I was. That's when I met Guru Rajesh, an 89-year-old mahout who had dedicated his entire life to the sacred elephants of the temple. When I first saw him, I almost dismissed him entirely. Here was this old man, weathered by decades under the Indian sun, wearing simple white cotton clothes, his hands gnarled from a lifetime of work. Surely, I thought in my arrogance, what could he possibly teach me that I hadn't already learned in the halls of Western academia? But Rajesh possessed something I had never witnessed before in all my years of study, something that would humble me to my very core and open my eyes to possibilities I never imagined. He could recite word for word conversations he had held 60 years earlier, not just the general idea or the main points. Every single word, every pause, every inflection in the speaker's voice. He knew every elephant he had cared for in 7 decades, their names, their personalities, their favorite foods, their fears, their joys, the exact day they arrived at the temple, and even the specific prayers that were chanted during their blessing ceremonies. He remembered the name of every temple visitor who had come seeking blessings over the course of decades. Thousands upon thousands of pilgrims from every corner of India and beyond. He knew their stories, their family histories, their deepest hopes and fears, their children's names, and exactly what they had prayed for when they knelt before the sacred elephants. But it wasn't just his memory that astounded me. It was the quality of his presence, the depth of his awareness, the way he seemed to exist in a state of perfect mental clarity that I had never encountered in anyone, regardless of age. One evening, as the temple bells rang out across the courtyard and the last rays of sunlight painted the ancient stones golden, I finally worked up the courage to ask him the question that had been burning in my mind since the day we met. "Guruji," I said, using the respectful term for teacher, "what is your secret? How is it possible that your mind contains such vast knowledge, such perfect recall, when men half your age struggle to remember what they had for breakfast?" Rajesh looked at me with eyes that held the wisdom of countless generations, and for a long moment he said nothing. The evening air was filled with the gentle sounds of elephants moving in their enclosures, the distant chanting of evening prayers, and the soft whisper of wind through palm fronds. Then he smiled, not the polite smile of social courtesy, but the deep, knowing smile of a man who has unlocked one of life's greatest mysteries, and said words that would change the entire trajectory of my understanding. "Monk Sahib, the answer is right before your eyes. It has been here all along, waiting for you to truly see." It was then that Rajesh took me by the hand and led me to the enclosure of Lakshmi, a magnificent 78-year-old elephant who was considered the most sacred of all the temple's elephants. As we approached, I could feel the immense presence of this ancient being, her eyes holding depths of wisdom that seemed to span centuries. "Observe carefully," Rajesh said, his voice barely above a whisper. "Watch how Lakshmi greets each person. Notice how she responds differently to each individual who approaches her." Over the next hour, I watched in amazement as a steady stream of pilgrims came to receive Lakshmi's blessing. And what I witnessed defied everything I thought I knew about animal memory and consciousness. Lakshmi recognized every single person she had met before. A businessman who had visited 5 years earlier, she remembered exactly how he liked to be touched, gently placing her trunk on his shoulder in the precise way that had comforted him during his previous visit when he was grieving the loss of his father. An elderly woman who came once each year during the festival of Ganesh Chaturthi, Lakshmi immediately began the specific swaying motion that this woman loved, remembering her preference from visits stretching back over 2 decades. A young family with children. Lakshmi recalled exactly which child was afraid of her trunk and which one delighted in feeling its rough texture, adjusting her approach to each small person with perfect precision. "But how is this possible?" I asked, my voice filled with wonder and disbelief. And it was then that Rajesh revealed to me the first layer of the ancestral secret that the mahouts had guarded for over 2 millennia. "The elephants," he said, his voice taking on the reverent tone reserved for the most sacred teachings, "consume specific plants that the ancient masters discovered over 2,000 years ago. Plants that grow in the sacred soil nourished by the waters of the Ganges, blessed by countless generations of prayers and meditation." He paused, letting the significance of his words sink in. "These plants strengthen the sacred connections of the mind, what your Western science calls neural pathways, but what we know as the divine threads that weave together consciousness, memory, and wisdom. And we, the mahouts, prepare a special version of these same plants for our own journey toward enlightenment." As Rajesh spoke, I felt a chill run down my spine. Here was knowledge that predated all of our modern understanding, wisdom that had been preserved and perfected over thousands of years of careful observation and practice. "But there is more," he continued, his eyes twinkling with the joy of sharing sacred knowledge with a worthy student. "The elephants do not consume these plants randomly. They follow an ancient rhythm, a sacred timing that aligns with the cycles of the moon, the changing seasons, and the ebb and flow of cosmic energies that modern man has forgotten how to perceive." Over the following weeks, Rajesh began to share with me the deeper layers of this ancestral wisdom. He told me about the 3 sacred plants that formed the foundation of the elephant's extraordinary mental abilities. The first was Bacopa monieri, but not the common variety found in health food stores across the West. This was a special strain that grew only in the most sacred locations, near temples where thousands of prayers had been offered over centuries, in soil that had been blessed by generations of holy men, watered by monsoon rains that carried the spiritual energy of the entire subcontinent. The second was a form of ginkgo that grew at specific altitudes in the foothills of the Himalayas, harvested only during certain phases of the moon, and only by those who had undergone years of spiritual purification. The local villagers called it the memory of the mountains, because it seemed to contain within its leaves the accumulated wisdom of the ancient peaks. The third was the most precious of all, a mineral-rich compound that formed naturally in caves where the elephants themselves had sheltered for generations, their presence somehow imbuing the very stones with memory-enhancing properties that modern science was only beginning to understand. "But Guruji," I asked one evening as we sat beside Lakshmi, watching her methodically choose specific leaves from the carefully prepared selection that Rajesh had laid out for her, "how did the ancient masters discover this knowledge? How did they know which plants would enhance memory and consciousness?" Rajesh's eyes grew distant, as if he were looking back across the vast expanse of time to witness those first moments of discovery. "The masters were observers," he said. "They watched the elephants with the patience of the eternal, noting which plants they sought out when they needed to remember migration routes across vast distances, which herbs they consumed before important ceremonies, which minerals they licked when they needed to recall complex social hierarchies within their herds." He gestured toward Lakshmi, who was now gently touching various plants with the tip of her trunk, seeming to test their energy before making her selection. "The elephants were our first teachers," he continued. "They showed us that memory is not just a function of the brain, it is a sacred capacity that can be nurtured, strengthened, and expanded through the proper combination of natural elements and spiritual practice." Walkers, what I discovered over the following months left me stunned and humbled. Modern science, with all its sophisticated equipment and rigorous methodology, had confirmed exactly what these ancient masters had known for millennia through simple observation and deep wisdom. The plants that elephants instinctively seek, especially that sacred strain of Bacopa monnieri, contain compounds that literally strengthen neural connections in our brain. They promote the growth of dendrites, the tiny branches of nerve cells that form the physical basis of memory. They increase the production of proteins essential for long-term memory formation. They protect existing brain cells from damage while encouraging the birth of new neurons well into advanced age. But here's what made this discovery even more extraordinary. Elephants didn't develop their legendary memory by accident or through some quirk of evolution. They followed an ancestral instinct, passed down through genetic memory over millions of years, that guided them to the exact plants, in the exact proportions, at the exact times that would maximize their cognitive abilities. And the mahouts, through centuries of careful observation and experimentation, had learned to harness this same natural wisdom for human benefit. Leave a comment right now and tell me, have you ever had one of those heart-stopping moments when your memory failed you at a crucial time? Maybe you forgot the name of someone important just when you needed to introduce them? Maybe you lost track of a precious family story that you desperately wanted to pass down to your children? Maybe you found yourself standing in a familiar place, feeling completely lost and confused? Share your experience with me, because I want you to know that you are not alone. And more importantly, I want you to understand that these moments of memory failure are not inevitable. They are not just part of getting older. They are signals that your mind is calling out for the nourishment it needs to thrive. When I finally returned from that transformative time at the temple, my notebooks filled with ancient wisdom and my heart overflowing with gratitude for the teachings I had received, I spent the next several years of my life on a single mission. How could I bring this incredible gift to the people who needed it most? How could I honor the sacred trust that Guru Rajesh had placed in me by sharing these ancestral secrets? How could I make this ancient wisdom accessible to modern people living in a world that seems designed to scatter our attention and fragment our memories? The answer came to me during a meditation at sunrise, as I sat in my study surrounded by the notes and sketches I had made during my time with the mahouts. I realized that I needed to find a way to recreate the exact conditions that allowed the elephants and their keepers to maintain such extraordinary mental clarity. It was then that I discovered a remarkable formulation that combines exactly these sacred plants that elephants naturally seek, prepared using the same principles that Rajesh had taught me during those life-changing months in India. This wasn't just another supplement created in a laboratory by people who had never witnessed the power of ancient wisdom. This was a careful recreation of a system that had been perfected over thousands of years of real-world application and proven results. The formulation follows the same sacred timing that the mahouts used. The plants are harvested at specific times, combined in exact proportions that mirror the natural ratios elephants instinctively choose, and prepared with the same reverence and attention to detail that characterized every aspect of temple life. This formulation, based on the profound wisdom of the mahouts, has already helped thousands of people around the world recover the mental clarity they thought they had lost forever. People who had resigned themselves to a future of increasing forgetfulness have discovered that their minds can be sharper at 70, 80, even 90 years old than they were at 50. I've received letters from grandparents who can now remember every precious detail of their grandchildren's lives, who can tell family stories with perfect accuracy, who feel confident and capable instead of confused and worried. I've heard from professionals who thought their careers were overdue to memory problems, only to find themselves performing better than colleagues decades younger. I've been contacted by people who had given up hope of ever feeling mentally sharp again, who now describe their minds as clearer and more focused than they've been in years. The link to learn about this formulation, this gift from the ancient wisdom traditions of India, is in the description of this video and also in the first comment I've pinned right below. It's my way of honoring the sacred teachings I received from Guru Rajesh and ensuring that this precious knowledge doesn't disappear in our modern world's rush toward artificial solutions and quick fixes. But I want you to understand something crucial, something that goes to the very heart of this ancient wisdom. The true secret is not just in the plants themselves, though they are indeed powerful allies in our quest for mental clarity. The true secret lies in awakening the deeper wisdom that already exists within you, in recognizing that your mind was designed by the same cosmic intelligence that guides elephants across continents and enables them to remember watering holes they haven't visited in decades. You were created to thrive, not merely to survive. Your mind was intended to grow sharper with age, like a sword that becomes more effective with proper care and use. The forgetfulness and mental fog that our society accepts as normal aging is not normal at all. It's a sign that we have forgotten how to properly nourish and care for our most precious gift. If this teaching has touched your heart, if you feel that spark of recognition that tells you this wisdom was meant for you, then I want you to do something right now. Like this video and let the algorithm know that this message matters. Share it with someone in your life who struggles with memory issues or who worries about their mental future. Send it to a family member who might benefit from this ancient wisdom. Help me spread this knowledge to every person who needs to hear it. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do it now. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell, because you are about to join a very special community, a family of vitality walkers who refuse to accept limitations, who choose growth over stagnation, who believe that the best years of their lives are still ahead of them. Every week, I share teachings like this one, ancient wisdom that has been tested by time and proven by countless generations of practitioners, secrets from monasteries hidden in mountain peaks, rituals from temples that have stood for thousands of years, and techniques that can transform not just your memory, but every aspect of your life. But remember, Walker, these teachings are not just intellectual curiosities to be collected like souvenirs. They are meant to be lived, to be practiced, to be integrated into the fabric of your daily existence. They are invitations to step into a larger version of yourself, to reclaim the extraordinary potential that is your birthright as a human being. May your journey be filled with crystal clear memories that illuminate every moment with meaning and purpose. May you remember not just the facts and details of your life, but the deeper truths that give those details their significance. May your mind remain as vast and powerful as the cosmic intelligence that created you, and may you use that power to bless not only yourself, but everyone whose life you touch. Until our next walk together on this sacred path of discovery and transformation, keep your heart open to wonder, your mind receptive to wisdom, and your spirit aligned with the eternal truths that guide us all toward our highest destiny. Namaste, which means the divine light within me honors and recognizes the divine light within you.